Right. What's up, world? Uko here from Better Therapy. Now, taking strengths to their limits. I think this is really important, something I really want to devote more time to doing. I think the first thing that you have to develop is a disciplined mindset when doing this. A way to do that is to ensure that your strengths are woven throughout your habits. My strengths, I guess when I first identify them, they sound kind of lame, but my strength is listening and providing feedback. And the feedback isn't attempting to solve somebody else's problem. It's just telling them, what do I think I'm hearing? You'd be surprised how people are able to solve their own problems when they listen to somebody else tell them what they think they're hearing. It's just a different perspective. I'm going to say something, I'm going to explain somebody's problems differently than how they explain, just because my whole life has been a different experience. Next is consistency, being disciplined with your strengths, but on a consistent basis. So for me, it would be engaging in communication with other people so that I can practice listening on a consistent basis. But what's essential to this is identifying a strength that you actually like. You have more than just one strength. Well, first you have to convince yourself that you have strengths, and then realize that you have more than one strength. Identify those strengths, and then select the one that you like the most. I've always talked to myself, even when I was a little kid, like I'm 5, 6, 7 years old, I just think out loud naturally. I just can't help it. I'm walking through the house, and I'm just thinking out loud about all sorts of different things, and I just brainstorm by myself. That's just kind of what I do, but I like it. It helps me decompress to a certain extent. And this is a skill that I've developed that's very transferable to the individual sessions that I do with clients. I see it as a strength, and it really is my sweet spot. Like one-on-one conversations are my sweet spot. I think that's why my favorite activity to do is to go to coffee or dinner with another person, or even with a group of people, but I prefer like one or two people. It's where I'm most comfortable and where I feel like where I'm entering into my sweet spot and engaging in a strength. Individual sessions with others allows me to take a strength to its absolute limit. And it's like, well, what sort of skill can you work on just by communicating with other people? Well, one is listening, but what's difficult is trying to challenge somebody, like their thought patterns, or challenge their why, or whatever they're saying, without their defenses going up, without kind of igniting those defenses. That is a delicate balance, because if somebody is challenged, if their thought patterns are challenged, they are very likely to get into a defense mode, and that decreases productivity. So it's like, how do I challenge without making their defenses go up? Another thing that's important when taking your strength to its absolute limit is remaining curious. So when you're engaging in your strength, you recognize something as your strength, and then you're getting better and better at it, to the point where there's few people around you that know more about the thing than you do. It's very likely that you will get closed-minded about it. Like if somebody challenges you or gives you advice, then your defenses will go up. But you want to maintain a curiosity mindset. You want to continue asking questions and attempt as best as possible to have a beginner's mindset. If you can't do that, surround yourself with experts. And then lastly, pay attention to detail. The details will become more and more important as you progress further and further in your strength. Lastly, you want to adopt an abundance mindset. You want to identify your strength and then think that you can be the best in the world at it. I tend to not want to be selfish. And this is the weakness of mine, I will identify a goal, describe a goal to myself, but I will aim low so that I feel more comfortable. Like, okay, I'm more likely to accomplish that. Even if it's some sort of boundary that I want to reach, like I want to make a certain amount of money, I'll make the amount really low and like reasonable so that I feel more comfortable within the entire project. And this is something that's in direct confrontation to the abundance mindset. You should set the goal so far and so high that you feel a little uncomfortable talking about it to yourself. Once you identify that discomfort, that's where the boundary is. And then you want to take it further to go farther than that boundary. So you have to be really honest about what you really want. The first thing that you say that you really want is probably not at the boundary, and it's definitely not beyond the boundary.